Please like this video. It will really help this story reach as many people as possible. Thank you so much for your support. Melissa started ignoring me in our own kitchen. That was the first clean sign. I came in early with 2 bags of groceries, rain dripping off my jacket, and she was at the counter polishing a glass like it owed her money. I set the bags down. Got your favorite marinara? I told her, putting the jar by her elbow. Don't buy that brand, she replied without looking up. It's too sweet. Last week it was not enough spice. Before that, too watery. I pulled open the fridge. 3 half-used jars stared back like witnesses. You're welcome for the food, I answered calm. I'll cook. You can relax. She slid the glass aside. You cooking is why the stove is always greasy. I folded the bags flat and stacked them on the shelf. So the new complaint is grease? The complaint, she said, wiping a perfectly clean surface, is that I carry this house while you do whatever you do. Work? Pay the mortgage? Fix the sink last night. I leaned on the island. Pick one. I'll drop it. You could drop the tone, she shot back. And maybe stop pretending you're the only adult here. A month of this. A month of being roommates. No warmth. No plan to fix it. I tried to open a conversation the week before, scheduled time on a Saturday like we were colleagues, and she had waved it off. I'm fine. You're the one making it complicated. Now she sniffed the marinara I'd just paid for like it was a failed science project. Let's sit down after dinner, I offered. Calendar out, 5 bullet points, 2 solutions, 1 timeline. I'm not doing a meeting, she said. I'm tired. If I'd known where this was headed, I would have kept that jar sealed. She parked the glass, set the rag precisely, and walked out like she had better things to do than speak to her husband. I cooked anyway. I plated both servings. She ate 3 bites and left her dish in the sink. Then she turned on a true crime show in the bedroom at a volume that said I was not invited. That night, I started the dishwasher, transferred money into my separate savings, and put my ring on the dresser. I wasn't leaving. I was drawing a line only I needed to see for now. The next morning, I reset the rules of the house. No drumroll, no speech. I cleared half my closet into bins and moved them to the garage. I put a lock on my tool cabinet and the filing drawer with our documents. I set up a cot in the office and rolled my clothes rack in there. When Melissa came back from her bar class mid-afternoon, she found me installing a simple keypad lock on the office door. She blinked. What is that? Door lock. For what? For a door, I said. I'm moving into the office for a while. You said you were fine. I'm giving you space. She dropped her bag. You're being dramatic. No, I replied. I'm being organized. We're married. You don't get a separate layer like a teenager. Then use the primary bedroom. I'll be down the hall. We'll keep the kitchen and living room civil. Sundays we review bills. That's all. I'm not doing reviews, she said. Then you'll just hear updates, I replied. Either way, the mortgage clears on the 1st, utilities on the 5th. I'll handle maintenance. You handle whatever you choose to handle. So I do nothing now. You do what you want. I won't chase. She stared at me as if the furniture had talked back. You don't get to set rules alone. You set the tone for a month, I said, clicking the keypad to test it. I'm catching up. She opened her mouth, then closed it. Fine, she said finally. Do what you want. I am. We ran that way for a week. She moved around me like I'd rented a room in her building. Cold, then snark, then the new favorite. Little requirements materializing mid-task. On Thursday, I was under the sink tightening a loose trap. While you're down there, she said from above, can you also fix the disposal? It makes a sound. It's 10 years old. I answered, checking the pipe. I'll replace it next weekend. Next weekend? So never. Next weekend, I repeated. There's always an excuse with you. I just gave you a date, I said, sliding out and wiping my hands. You want it sooner, call a plumber. So you waste money on something you can do yourself. Pick one lane, Melissa. She folded her arms. There. That tone again. I reassembled the pipe, stood, and put the wrench away. We can put tone on the Sunday agenda. I told you, I'm not doing meetings. Then I'll do updates. My update is I'm replacing the disposal on Saturday, buying parts from my account, and keeping the receipt in my files. Why your files? Because you've been clear this month, I replied. You're fine. I'm fine. And I like my receipts where I can find them. Her laugh was small and mean. You and your precious little systems. They pay for the house you live in, I answered, non-angry, like stating the weather. I'll be late tonight. Inspections at the warehouse ran over. There's chicken thawing. She smirked. Of course you'll be late. Of course. When I left, I texted Ramon, our operations manager, that I'd swing by the loading dock. I needed different air. We sorted a pallet issue, grabbed coffee from the machine by the bay doors, and when I mentioned the home situation, Ramon shook his head. You giving her too much, he said, tapping the rim of his cup. I already took most of it back. Take all of it back, he replied. You leave her nothing to swing at. I drove home with one more decision. Budgets. That night, I moved our joint funds into the account I pay bills from. Took her off the credit card I opened in my name before we married, and set up 2 allowances. One for household essentials, one for unexpected repairs. Both required my confirmation. I brought the paper to the Sunday table and placed it down. What is this? She asked, stirring her tea without sipping. New system. Joint card, groceries and gas. Large purchases, ask. Anything personal, your card. She flipped the page. So you can play sheriff and deny? So I can see what we're spending and know the lights will stay on, I answered. It's a house, not a vending machine. She tilted her head. You punishing me? No. Protecting us. I don't need protecting. Then you won't notice, I said. Because you don't need anything. She stared for a long second. You think you're clever. I think I'm clear. She pushed the paper back, lips flat. Do whatever. I'm going out. Okay. She left. 10 minutes later, she came back and put a to-go cup on my side of the table. For your drive tomorrow, she said. Caramel. The one you like. It was the first soft edge in weeks. I didn't make a speech. I just nodded. Thanks. She shrugged. You're not the only one who can be organized. Good. I'm making pasta tonight, she added. Your marinara is fine. I was cranky. Okay. She turned away. That night she cooked, put the plate in front of me, even asked about the warehouse. It felt normal enough that I almost took the lock off my office door. Then, after dinner, she opened her phone and told someone, loudly, that she couldn't talk long because she had house stuff to review. She said the words while looking at me, like a comedian checking if the bit landed. I rinsed my plate and went to the office. Monday morning, I found the to-go cup still on the table, half empty and watered down. Caramel, written in marker, smudged. Mid-turn, I thought. Not change. A feeler. The second turn came a week later, at Nate and Jess's backyard barbecue. Nate is my neighbor across the street, a firefighter with a grin that sells raffle tickets. The whole block showed up. Kids ran through sprinklers. Somebody dragged a speaker into the shade. Folks from Jess's office came with salads and stories. I came solo. Melissa said she was not in the mood for small talk. At 9, she arrived anyway, in a sundress and sunglasses at dusk, like she was on a magazine cover the rest of us hadn't seen. Jess waved her in. Look who decided to bless us. Had to say hi before my Sunday reset, Melissa said, kissing Jess's cheek. Those weekends get away from you. She drifted toward me, fingers trailing the folding chairs like she was selecting a performance. Hey, she said. Hey. You didn't text me the time, she noted, peering into the cooler. Nate sent the invite. So you couldn't forward it? You said you weren't in the mood. She fished out a seltzer and popped the tab. I changed my mind. Good for you. I replied neutral. She scanned the yard. This is a lot for hot dogs. Community, I said. People like it. People like noise, she corrected, smiling at Nate across the grass. Where's the food? I pointed. She headed that way, brushing my shoulder as if by accident. On her way back, she latched onto a woman I hadn't met. Tall, black hair, nude diamond catching string lights. Jake, Jess said, walking up with them. This is Tasha from my office. She got engaged last week. Congrats, I told Tasha, shaking her hand. That's a clean rock. Tasha laughed. Thank you. I keep hitting it on things. Didn't realize jewelry had a learning curve. Melissa linked arms with her like they were sisters. Show him the video, she urged. It was at the lake, sunset, the whole production. Tasha pulled out her phone, found the clip, pressed play. Everyone looked sweet and young and hopeful. I meant it when I said, nice. Genuine. Right. Tasha beamed. We're thinking early spring. Nothing huge. Spring is smart, Melissa said. Just enough planning time. Jess checked the grill. You two should talk logistics, she told Melissa. Tasha's never done this. Oh, I have thoughts, Melissa said, taking a sip of seltzer like it was a microphone test. Plenty of thoughts. The first ones were fine. Caterers versus food trucks, day of timeline, shoes that don't punish you. Then her tone shifted. Here's something nobody tells you, she said lightly. Guys love the project during the chase. After the ceremony, it's like reset to factory settings. They stop trying. The sweet things get rare. The house chores become favors. You start pushing the boulder alone. Tasha's smile tilted. You think. Look around, Melissa answered. Who's manning the grill? Who's sitting with the screaming toddler? Who's cleaning up after? Jess shot me a glance. Nate called from the deck. Burgers are up. And the moment moved, but Melissa hadn't finished. It's not about a dress or a party, she continued, voice even. It's about what you lock yourself into. Lock yourself into what? Tasha asked, half laughing. A role, Melissa said. The guy he was when he was trying to win you disappears after the honeymoon. Tasha, I cut in gently. Don't crowdsource your relationship from a barbecue. Melissa flashed me a smile with no heat in it. You disagree, Jake? I think you should talk about what matters to you and see if that matches the man in front of you. So diplomatic, she said. You missed your calling. Tasha looked between us, unsure. I'm not telling you what to do, Melissa went on. Just be honest with yourself. If something feels off, don't sign up for 20 years of fixing someone. Or, I said, don't let other people's marriages live rent-free in yours. Jess coughed. Burgers, everyone. The night held together with paper clips after that. I kept my distance. Melissa laughed with Tasha near the strings of lights, leaned in for whispers that made Tasha bite her lip. On my way out, Nate walked me to the gate. You good? He asked, soft enough no one else would hear. I'm awake, I said. You staying with me if you need space? Got the office. Thanks. You know where the spare key is. At home, Melissa slid past me in the hall. You were quiet. You were loud enough. Don't be salty, she said, opening her phone. We helped Tasha. You helped Tasha with your mood, I replied, going into the office. That's all. 2 nights later, I was at the warehouse late again, counting racks, when Melissa texted, Tasha's coming by. She needs advice. Be normal. I replied with a thumbs up and finished my notes. When I pulled into our driveway, I saw Tasha's sedan and 2 figures through the front window. I paused in the car for a minute. The house lights made a soft rectangle on the lawn, like a stage I didn't audition for. Inside, they had spread magazines and swatches on the coffee table. Melissa sat angled toward Tasha like a coach. Here he is, she announced as if I were the waiter. Jake, this is the part where you pretend to be supportive. I'm always supportive, I said, hanging my jacket. Sure, she replied. Sit. Smile. Don't correct. Tasha offered a tentative wave. Hey, I returned. Congrats again. Thanks, she said. We're just talking everything. Everything, Melissa echoed. Budget, guest list, exit strategy. Tasha's brow creased. Exit strategy? Let me pause the story for just a second. If you're still listening, please hit the like button on this video. It really helps YouTube show this story to more people. Thank you so much for the support. Now let's get back to the story. In case you see who he really is after the vows, Melissa said, turning a page. If you lock money together too soon, it gets messy. If you move into his, it becomes his. If you buy too much at once, you lose leverage. People don't say it because it sounds cynical, but I'm your friend. I'll say it. Tasha, I said, keeping my voice even. If you're excited and you've got a healthy thing, plan together and enjoy it. Keep your own accounts. That's fine. The rest depends on your relationship. See? Melissa lifted her hands. Mr. Spreadsheet knows what I'm talking about. He keeps everything in separate folders. It's called documentation, I answered. It's how people who pay mortgages keep track. So romantic, she said. Tell Tasha how you romance me, Jake. I looked at Tasha, not at Melissa. We used to cook on Tuesdays and watch old movies. She used to like that. Melissa smirked. We also used to have a man who didn't log his chores in an app. I never logged chores in an app, I said. Close enough, she snapped. Anyway, Tasha, here's the point. Don't rush the legal piece. Take your time. See what he's like after the ring. Tasha bit her lip again. I mean, I love him. Love him, Melissa said quickly. Just be smart. Then she leaned back and smiled at me with a sweetness that could ice a cake. By the way, I picked up your dry cleaning, she announced. And I grabbed your favorite wrap for lunch tomorrow. It's in the fridge. You're welcome. Tasha looked relieved, softness at last. I nodded once. Thanks. Melissa twirled the seltzer tab. See? I can be thoughtful too. We kept it level for another 20 minutes. Then the switch flipped. Tasha asked her how married life felt year 3, and Melissa laughed as if that were the headline. It's like a subscription you can't cancel without penalties, she said. You think you're buying partnership, but what shows up is just bills and expectations. That's not true of all marriages, I replied. She shrugged. Maybe not. But look at this one. She gestured at me with open, performative sympathy, then turned her face squarely to Tasha. Just look at me. I'm stuck married to this. Do you really want that? There it was. Clean. No guesswork. The room went so still I could hear the fridge hum. Tasha's eyes went wide. I stood, walked to the coffee table, and took off my ring. I set it down beside the stack of bridal magazines. Stuck, I said, calm as a bank teller. Don't worry. I'll free you. Melissa's smile broke like a curtain lifting to reveal the backstage. She pivoted to Tasha, tapping the ring with a nail. See? At least half of his stuff could be yours if you play this right. She laughed for real, like she'd slipped and finally enjoyed it. Tasha recoiled like she'd smelled smoke. I smiled back, not at the joke, but at the clarity. I picked up my ring, tossed it in my pocket so I wouldn't forget it belonged to me, and went to the office. I grabbed the go bag I'd set up 2 weeks earlier. Basics, documents, spare keys, a flash drive with scans, a toothbrush, 2 shirts, 1 pair of jeans, running shoes. I closed the office door, turned the lock out of habit, then unlocked it because that moment deserved no sound of hiding. In the living room, Melissa tilted her head. Where are you going? Out, I answered. You're making a scene. No, I said. I'm ending one. Tasha stood. I should. Stay, I told her. It's your consult. I went to the bedroom, took my wallet from the nightstand, slid out the drawer where I keep a small fireproof envelope, and moved it into my bag. Back in the hall, Melissa followed, voice back to sugary. Jake, come on. It was a joke. 2 kinds of jokes, I said. Ones that make people laugh, and ones that say what you've been thinking. You're taking this too far. I'm taking it exactly as far as you walked it. She shifted tactics. Fine. Leave. But leave the credit cards. No. You can't. I can't, I said. And I already did. She reached for the strap of my bag. I let her feel the weight, and then kept walking. Where are you even going? She called after me. Away from your performance. You're not serious, she tried. I'm surgical. Jake. Soft, pleading, the second illusion. Please don't be rash. We can talk tomorrow. You didn't want to talk, I reminded her. You wanted an audience. I opened the front door. Tasha stood with her clutch pressed to her chest like she needed a seat belt. I'm sorry, she whispered. You don't owe me anything, I told her. But take every word you heard tonight and think hard. Okay. Melissa's voice followed me onto the porch. If you walk out, don't expect to walk back in. Noted. I closed the door behind me. The night air felt like water after smoke. I texted Ramon. Need a short-term place. He replied in 2 minutes. My cousin's got a 1-bed near the river. Month to month. Connect me. By 11, I had a key. By midnight, I had a mattress on the floor, a lamp with a crooked shade, and my bag in the closet. I slept like a man who's finally not waiting for a test he didn't schedule. In the morning, I called a financial attorney I knew from a vendor mixer. Not a litigator, a planner who understood exits. Her name was Hanley. Her voice sounded like a spreadsheet. What's the situation? She asked, after I laid out the contours. House purchased before marriage, separate accounts, joint card for groceries, recent tension. Short version, I said. My wife's been pushing me to be the one to end it. She wants it to look like I did it, and to take as much as possible. I want a clean break. I don't want to fight. I do want to protect the house and the accounts I had before. Then do 3 things today, she said. 1. Freeze any non-essential joint spending. 2. Document purchases for the last 90 days, dates, amounts, what it was. 3. Change passwords to everything and put 2-factor on your accounts. Then we'll set appointments to file and set terms. Done. Also, she added, Don't respond to provocations. They want you sloppy. You stay clean. I'm already clean. Then congratulations, she said. You're ahead. By lunch, my accounts were locked tight. A separate mailbox was set up at a UPS store, and I had changed the alarm code at the house to something only I knew. I texted Melissa, I'll pick up my remaining things Saturday at 10 a.m. Please be out or be civil. She wrote back, don't be dramatic. We're not children. I replied, agreed. Saturday at 10, I arrived with boxes and Ramon. He stood in the doorway like a quiet bouncer. Melissa played hostess, sickly sweet. Oh good, she sang arms wide. The moving committee. Morning, I said. I'm taking my office stuff, my tools, and clothes. That's all. You don't have to do this, she tried as I rolled the rack out. We can slow down. We already slowed down, I replied. Then you hit the gas in the wrong direction. She shifted. I only said that because Tasha needed to hear it. She needed to hear your plan, I said. Message received. Ramon lifted the printer. Where? Truck, I answered. Front. Melissa followed to the door. Can we at least discuss money? I've already set the boundaries, I said. Groceries and utilities, funded. Anything else, no. You're being controlling. I'm being careful. She stepped closer, voice sweeter. I made you that wrap, remember? I remember the part after. I told her, and carried the boxes out. That night Hanley emailed draft documents. Neutral language, clear outlines, no fireworks. I read them like an engineer reads specs, line by line, checking for leaks. 3 weeks passed. I went to work, lifted weights in the apartment complex gym, ate simple food, and noticed I liked the sound of my own breath when it wasn't waiting for an insult. Melissa texted twice to ask for the streaming password and once to ask if she could host her book club at the house. I replied no, and do whatever you want within the rules. On a Wednesday, the call came. You need to unlock my money, she said without greeting. Whose? Mine, she snapped. The joint stuff? You locked it. After we separate, it's both of ours, which means right now I have a right to it, and you're not allowed to lock me out. I almost laughed, not unkindly. That's not how time works. Don't talk down to me, she said. Open it. No. You can't say no. I just did. I have bills, she pressed. The house, my house, needs maintenance. The gutters. And I want to buy some things for me. For once. You cut off my card like I'm a child. The house you're in, I answered, was purchased by me before we married. I've been paying that mortgage since before I knew you. The accounts are mine. The joint card is for food and gas. Use that. If you want extras, use your card. The rules are unchanged. You're not allowed to do this, she shouted. After this ends, it'll be my money too. You can't lock me out of my own future. I'm not locking you out of your future, I said. I'm keeping you out of my present. You think you're so clever, she hissed. Open the accounts. Stop calling me with bad ideas, I replied, and hung up. She called back immediately. I let it go to voicemail. Then she called again. I picked up. Do not hang up on me, she said. Then say something useful. I will take everything you have if you don't cooperate. You already tried, I said. You tried the public nudge. You tried the sweet. You tried the insult. We're done. You're not even letting me stay in the house I built. You didn't build it. You're heartless. I'm quiet, I corrected. And careful. You owe me. I owe you clarity. You got it, I said, and ended the call. Then I blocked her number. Hanley called an hour later. She left 3 messages for me too. Let her leave them, I said. Final papers are scheduled for next month. Stay the course. I will. A month later, it was ink on paper. No ceremony. No scene. Melissa moved out of the house with 3 plastic tubs and a framed print. She got none of what she'd aimed at. Her name never touched the deed. The accounts stayed with the man who opened them. Hanley sent a short email. All done. I sent a short reply. Thank you. Ramon took me for a burger and didn't make a toast. He just ate and let the silence be friendly. Melissa texted from a new number 2 weeks after that. I need help covering a few things. I didn't answer. She wrote again. It's just until I land. I didn't answer. Then she tried one more pass at grace. I'm sorry, she wrote. I was under pressure. I didn't mean what I said that night. Can we talk? I typed slowly. I'm glad you reached out. I don't hold you. I'm not available. Then I placed the phone face down and breathed the easiest breath of my year. I'm not going to paint it as some dramatic rebirth. No fireworks. Just peace that didn't need permission. The house. I decided I didn't want it anymore. I sold it, took the equity, and bought a smaller place on a hill with a workshop out back. A used pickup sits in the driveway, older than my last car and easier to love. The office in the new house has a desk with clean lines and a chair that treats my back like an adult. I keep the ring in a little dish by the lamp. Not as a relic, just as a reminder. Nobody is stuck who can use their hands. Work picked up. We landed 2 contracts because I wasn't running home to stage manage a Cold War. I took a fishing trip with Nate. He drank iced tea and told me Jess thought my new place looked like I hired someone to organize it. I said I did. Me. Ramon met someone good and steady. I stood with them by a taco truck and felt nothing jagged in my chest. On a Saturday at the farmer's market, I met Erin. She runs a small landscaping crew. She talks like a person who has fired clients for being rude to her employees. We swapped business cards because she wanted warehouse plants delivered, and I knew a vendor. Coffee turned into dinner without speeches. She's nobody's illusion. I don't perform. I don't ask her to. We take turns paying. We don't combine calendars. If she brings food, I say thank you and eat it. If I fix her leaky faucet, she texts me later that she put money into her emergency fund. That's our romance. 2 adults moving their own weight and inviting the other to walk along. I hear about Melissa once in a while. Tasha texted me months later. We went through with it. Small ceremony. You were right. We planned together. Thank you. She added, I haven't talked to Melissa much. Jess mentioned in passing that Melissa rented a condo across town and had to move again when the rent climbed. Someone said she tried to sell a course on smart marriage planning, and it didn't find buyers. None of that is my problem. That's the consequence of her project. When you plan for half, sometimes your math returns 0. People ask sometimes, in ways they think are delicate, would you do anything differently? I would do one thing faster. I would stop trying to negotiate for respect and go straight to protecting it. I wasted a month telling a wall it could be a door. The second I noticed the door was painted on, I opened a real one. The last time Melissa reached out, a short, odd message that read, we were good once. I stood at my workbench in the shop, sorting screws into little labeled cups. Erin was inside, watering the basil she planted in a pot by my sink. The afternoon light made everything honest. I typed back, we were. Take care, and put the phone away. Then I picked up the drill and kept going. You want a lesson? Here it is, plain. When someone decides your value is an angle for their plan, you don't hold a seminar. You set your own plan. You get organized. You act. You stop feeding the machine that's trained to insult you. You don't need thunder. You need a calendar, a lock, a bag, and a sentence that ends the scene. Stuck? I told her that night. Don't worry. I'll free you. That line closed our book. Everything since has been a clean page I actually want to write on. Our story has come to an end. If you've made it this far, how about subscribing to our channel? It helps us immensely. I've selected 2 other videos for you that I'm sure you'll enjoy. Feel free to click on them. I'll be waiting for you in the next story. See you soon.